Pipe Network presents.
On this episode of Season 4, Let's Talk.
If you want to do something, if you want to be something, if you want to achieve something, you have to take that first step, no matter how scary it is, no matter how difficult it is. Kasi mas importante sa akin yung nagsa-start ka na and then you're learning from the mistakes along the way rather than trying to prepare everything from the get-go pero you never get to take that first step.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv Show, and I'm your host Rajiv Doreswamy, and this show aims to help reach out to those who are currently struggling in life and to remind you that life is indeed beautiful when you're inspired to make it your own. Before we get into this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to whichever platform you are using. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at The Rajiv Show. Hey folks, welcome to The Rajiv Show, and my guest today is another member of the PPD community and the PPH community. Phenomenal voice. Of course, this guy has his own podcast, and he's one inspirational guy to an interesting conversationalist. I want to introduce to you guys my guest, Jap from Jappy Hour. Hey pal, how you doing?
Hey, musta? Hello. I'm doing a jelly impression there.
My shout
Thank
out
you
na.
for dun sa sa introduction mo. Sinabi mong phenomenal voice.
Oh yeah.
Thank you dun sa compliment na yun.
Big fan. I'm a big fan, and having you on the show is a huge honor because it's been long actually since I asked you for a collaboration. So yeah, finally coming into fruition. Before we get
Yeah.
into our meat and bones and our topics that we want to highlight, could you give a little bit of background about yourself to my listeners, aside from, of course, the ones that I mentioned?
Okay, so yeah, I'm Jap, pero I go by Joshua Von Drake, yun yung brand name ko. And I'm a college graduate, an IT graduate, pero so far yung industry na napasukan ko is not actually related to IT. And parang karamihan ng mga tao, I'm just trying to find kumbaga, my purpose in life. And so I've been doing some experimenting. Ito ngayon, I'm doing a podcast. I'm recording vlogs. I'm doing tutorial videos, review videos. But I'm just trying to find my place in this world, so to speak. Kasi alam mo mahirap ng parang ligaw ka eh. Madami kasing taong ganun eh na parang ligaw, hindi alam kung saan yung direction ng buhay nila. Hindi alam kung saan papupunta, wala silang solid na goal or plan for the future, and right now parang ganun ako eh. So I'm still trying to find my place in this world. I'm still trying to find my meaning, kumbaga yung meaning of my existence. So kung dito ako sa podcasting, kumbaga parang dito ko mahanap yun yung meaning ko, kung may mga tao nag-e-enjoy dun sa content ko or kung dun sa mga tutorial ko man, dun nila nagugustuhan yung mga ginagawa ko. And then, I'll do it. I'll keep doing this, And yun yung background ko. I'm trying to find a place in this world.
Wow.
Parang ang deep agad nun ah.
I love it. We got lots to open up there now. Before of course, I want to rewind the clock here and ask a question that I'm sure I asked you before in the PPD show. Is that if you and I were high school classmates, who were you in high school? And actually, to be honest, I actually forgot your response. That's why I'm asking again.
Hindi ko din actually maalala yung conversation na yan. Siguro hindi mo yata sa akin inask eh.
Yeah.
Or baka
I did.
inask mo pero hindi siya kasama dun sa
Ah,
na-release na footage. That's
okay.
probably it. O
Well,
kaya hindi natin parehas maalala.
it's true. Yeah, because I think yung background back then it was different. But yeah, yeah. Coming back to the question, if you and I were high school classmates, who were you in high school? Were you the jock, the nerd? Were you the silent type in the back of the class? Were you the guy with the chicks? You know, who were you in high school, basically? If you and I were classmates.
uh, yeah, siguro naman sa mga nakakita sa akin on video or kung i-release mo to in video tapos makikita nila yung itsura ko, they would probably assume na ako yung jock, ako yung madaming chicks or whatever. Pero
Yeah.
in high school, I was actually a nerd. I was the silent type as well. Ano parang background character ako. If kunyari may movie,
Oh,
background character ako instead of the main character. Ganun ako nung high school.
parang
And
NPC sa gaming. Parang ganun.
oh
NPC,
yeah,
non-playing
para
character.
NPC. Yes, oo. Kumbaga parang I know parang first impressions hindi nyo makukuha sa akin yun, pero I was exactly that, an NPC nung high school ako. So much so nga na nabubuli pa ako nung high school ako eh. Diba, can you imagine a 6'1" guy,
Wow.
190 pounds tapos mabubuli in high school, di ba? Pero that was the truth. Nabubuli ako nung high school. I was the nerd. I was the silent type. And yeah, ganun ako. So, parang ang layo eh, no? Ang layo.
Okay. I'm trying to imagine that because yeah, you've opened up a box here. Yeah, you've opened up a box here that
Yeah, pero
is interesting.
actually that's an interesting story. Itong look ko ngayon, itong aura, this presence that kumbaga parang in-exude ko today,
Hmm.
this did not happen by accident. Kumbaga parang premeditated to eh. Kumbaga, when I reached college, parang sinabi ko, maybe it's time for an image change. Maybe it's time to work on my insecurities. And so, nung pagdating ko nung college, yes, ay matangkad ako, I'm a 6-footer, pero payat ako nun eh.
Hmm.
And so, nag-start ako mag-workout, kumbaga to fix my insecurities kasi nga, na-insecure ako sa payat ko, dun sa body type ko. And so, nagbuhat ako, nag-workout ako, I started working out. And then, ganito na. And then I started working out. I started fixing yung kumbaga conversational skills ko. I started speaking out more kasi nga dati nung high school ako parang kahit alam kong tama ako or kahit I know that I have something to say, hindi ako nagsasalita eh back in high school. And so I tried to change that during college. Baga naging medyo outspoken ako nung college. And so, kumbaga parang as time goes by, naging mas comfortable na sa akin yung mga kumbaga yung plans ko to change myself. And then parang naging natural na siya. And then it's a part of me now. Kaya ngayon, kahit hindi na ako payat, I still work out. Kumbaga, para nga naman to maintain my figure kasi I worked hard to get this body, so parang ang waste naman kung parang sasayangin ko. And ito nga, I'm starting the podcast kasi may issues nga ako regarding hindi pagsasalita, so I started working on that and now I'm podcasting. And so yun, talagang kung if you knew me back in high school, you wouldn't recognize me today. that's the gist of it.
Yeah. I mean, I internalized that. I mean, that's interesting. I want to dive into the philosophy and the stuff there, but I want to rewind the clock there to the moment when you realized that you wanted to change, because I think that's one thing I find inspiring, that those pivotal moments. Is there one particular story that ignited that fire, or it was a general consensus that you were exposed by the environment? Or was there a time where you were walking back from the bus or walking home or sitting in the jeep or something and said that was the click, that was the fire? Was there a particular story? Take us back to that moment, that pivotal moment for change. It's interesting.
Okay. Actually, this might sound parang petty or parang small. Let's just use the word small. Or hindi, petty na lang. Let's stick with petty. Parang
Hmm.
ang petty. Kasi etong change na to, it all started when I wanted to date beautiful girls.
Hmm. Nice motivation.
Kasi, oo, syempre, iba-iba naman tayo ng parang sources of inspiration or motivation. And for
True.
me, it was that dating aspect eh.
Yeah.
Kasi, of course, yung ang dami kong insecurities and I didn't feel good about myself. Kumbaga,
Hmm.
yung mga girls, parang mararamdaman nila yun eh. So, mas nagiging less attractive ka pa, lalo mong pinoproject yung insecurities mo. And
Yeah.
so nahirapan ako with dating when I was in high school.
Hmm.
So, parang sabi ko, I've had enough. I want to date the most beautiful girls. I want to date the sexiest girls. And so, ang parang hinanap ko is kumbaga parang the common factor. Ano ba yung mga, what are the qualities that the girls want? Parang ganun. Yung kumbaga consistent among guys na hinahabol ng girls. And una-una is yung confidence. And yun yung wala ako. And so, I tried to work on my confidence. Next is gusto ng mga babae, of course, kahit hindi admit ng ibang babae, pero may may bonus yung physical appearance ng lalaki, and that involves yung katawan ng lalaki. Is he athletic? Is he chubby? Is he fat? Is he skinny? And so, and yung motivation ko na I wanted to date girls, yun yung parang nag-spark sa akin to make a change, to bring about change in my life. So yun, I know it sounds petty, pero yun yung parang motivation talaga para sa akin eh.
Interesting. I love it. We just went in straight into the topics that I really. It's like you led me straight into the direction where we're gonna talk about philosophy. For me, I kind of agree with you, but in my regards to dating, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about dating here because I want to share. I haven't shared any of my dating experiences though. In college, high school, I got some good stuff. I got some good stuff for you in high school. In my story, high school, when I grew up here in Philippines, probably till around 5 years old, fifth grade. We call it standard in India. So when I was here, it was tough to get chicks. One was, of course, when they found out that I was Indian, the discrimination was stronger. Especially younger guys knew, the younger folks knew this guy is not us, not skin colored. And when they met my dad, it was kind of big turn off. So I said, okay, forget it. That's the thing. When I went to India, though, the experience was much different. I kid you not. This is coming from me. I'm not gonna name names, but the experience of it was actually saying it was interesting because when I was when I went to the high school, I was joined in the high school and everything. The first time I went to the school, my aunt, me and my sister was enrolled in the same school where my aunt was. Kaya nung time na yun, we could just literally hide behind our aunt, susumbungin kita, sino? Kita ko yan. Yung mga ganun. Alam mo yung mga ganun na thing. So, we kind of got away. It was funny. Me and my sister, we kind of got away. Plus that, when I was with my sister, we used to fight in Tagalog, Ilocano, and people are going like, what's this language they're throwing? Voodoo language kind of thing. And the funny part about that was the first few days when I joined, and I joined fifth, naulit ko kasi yung fifth grade ko nung time na yun. Midway when I traveled around 2005, I stopped my high school in here in the Philippines. So mga fifth standard, I think. I'll use the Indian terms. So around fifth standard, I didn't finish fifth standard there. Tinuloy ko na sa India. And then when I went
Okay.
in India and then sing, I was really culture shocked. The first thing when I saw dating, it was weird. Weird in the sense it's like the polar opposite of how it is when you're dating, because there my first experience was someone liked me, and then they approached me and say, I like you, do you want to be my boyfriend? I was like, whoa. And she approached me. If I know the system of how things are dating when I came back to the Philippines, what I knew of when it was dating, the how when you like someone you want to date them, the tradition is you you have to approach them, you have to look good, you have to build yourself up, you have to go to hell, you have to sign a deal with Satan, make that deal, sign it in blood, sign it, and then come back to her and then say, I like you, can we go out? And then you find out that the person is dating a basketball. Yeah. That is how I used to see everyone. I used to like this girl. Oh, I like this girl, I want to have a conversation. And then they mistake that
Yeah.
for a thing. So in India, it was the opposite. When the girl likes you, no holds bar. He comes to you, hey, I like you. Do you want to be my boyfriend? And then it's the thing, and then happens, and it's funny. It was like very weird. That's why,
Actually,
yeah,
let me cut you off saglit lang. Maganda yung binring up mo yung story mong yan kasi baka yung ibang tao ina-assume na kumbaga nahihirapan ako manligaw. It was actually not that kasi when I started wanting to date people in general.
yeah.
I was in Subic back then in Olongapo. And madami kasing foreigners sa Olongapo. Actually, yung school ko was comprised of 50% foreigners. So, medyo yung school ko nag-adapt na siya ng kumbaga parang western style of dating. Hindi na din siya legal. It was no holds barred. Hey, if you like me, then date me. Parang ganun. And yun yung parang naging motivation sa akin kasi yun yung nahirapan ako eh. Nahirapan akong just straight out ask people. Kumbaga mas madali sa akin kasi nga silent type ako, nerd ako. Mas madali sa akin yung parang traditional na Filipino na dating na parang magkikiss ask ka for a while and then saka kanya papayagan maging boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah.
Pero kasi dun sa when I was dating in Olongapo, it was no holds barred. Hey, I like you. Can you be my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to date me? Parang mga ganun yung sistema dun eh. So, yun, share ko lang. Sorry to cut you off.
Parang naiisip ko ngayon eh. Shit, I should have gone to Olongapo na lang for that experience. Because I swear.
Still go. Mabata pa naman tayo.
I swear it was really a different experience. Like what I meant, I know I exaggerated what I felt. Pero that was mostly like, it was the pattern in. I like this girl. The girl's cute. I just want even to have a conversation, a decent conversation. They get exhausted mentally, especially when I speak English. Parang yung by now, believe me, by now I would have been a millionaire. By how many times I've heard people say na nadudugo ang ilong ko, I would have been a millionaire by now. Because I've heard that countless times, and mostly when chicks, it's kind of like a turn off. I was like, oh shit, I gotta readjust myself, and it was tough the first few months. And yeah, coming back to that pattern of how I used to see things, yung tipong kung nakikita mo talaga is that the girl that you like 5 months later, or not even 5 months, a week later, will be walking holding hands with a tall guy. It's like, oh shit, what slam dunk episode did they actually pick up this giant? It's like every time I see a tall guy, that's the thing that I see. It's like, this dude went and dated a slam dunk character, anime character. This so tall, like, I said, okay, fine.
Sabihin mo din sa akin yan pag nakita mo ko.
No, but at least knowing you, you've said it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But with regards to those
So,
people,
yeah.
tall guys, I mean, tall. Looking up is like looking up to the Eiffel Tower, And I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the best. I'm the best kind of guy. I mean, for me, yeah, I had flaws and stuff. I was coming from
Yeah.
another country, transitioning into another country. Kaya yun is it was an experience. I never expect that have a talk about relationship with Jeff. I love
pero
this.
pero
Yeah.
ang interesting ang interesting na yun din yung na point out mo, which yung mga babae dito sa Philippines, which
Oh,
kumbaga hindi ko generalize pero for the most part, from what I experienced and from what you experienced, lagi mga basketball players,
yeah.
sila pa naman yung parang ayaw na ayaw ko nung when I was in high school, kasi
Yeah.
nga they were the total opposite of me. Tapos
Yeah.
it's ironic kasi yung image ko ngayon parang ganun na.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. You actually have a point there, but yeah, kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Yung mga
But yeah,
varsity players talaga.
yeah, I mean, no disrespect to the varsity players if they're tuning in,
Yeah.
and I respect you guys. I know the hard work, the aesthetics. You guys need to go hustle for the scholarship and stuff. I am not bitching about you guys. I mean, you guys got a good chicks. That's all I gotta say. You got a good stuff, and yeah, that's that's the experience that I have. But let's turn. Wow, we were. This is an interesting topic. I really love talking about this. Um, yeah, that's my experience. I mean, I want to also follow up. I kind of got disappointed. I mean, from me, I'll share the personal experience that I had. Offline was not really good for me, and it was tough. It was bad. It was tough. But what I did in order to accommodate, I kind of uh, for those who don't know, this is your guys are getting firsthand information. I kind of turned offline was tough for me, so I had no choice. I wanted to experiment with the online dating kind of thing, And for those, yeah, I kind of the cat's out of the bag, so I kind of did Tinder. At some point, I was doing the other one. What's that, Tanchan or whatever that thing is, and then the new one with Facebook. I think Facebook dating, and I tried it, couple dates here and there. I wanted to test it out. I want to see if meron pa rin yung mga barrier na feel ko dun sa offline experiences through the online. And so far, I mean, it was good. Until, of course, when lately I found out that ghosting is a thing, so I was like, shit. There's no end to the
Na
impossibilities. Yeah.
ghost ka na ba?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also one thing that I hated. When I found out, oh, ghosting is a thing. Okay, fine. I kind of got used to it, so I have to wiggle my way in like a worm. Basically, I have to wiggle my way into the online thing, getting myself out there. But I put my bio in such a way that I know my intention and I know what I want. So yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can't believe I
Yeah,
fessed
pero
up to Jappy.
yung
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for doing that kasi siyempre I know hindi tayo ganun ka-close and we've only spoken a couple of times, which is
yeah,
yung na-mention nga natin kanina, which was the PPD interviews.
yeah,
Pero thank you for sharing that information with me. Kumbaga ako yung first mong sinabihan eh.
yeah.
Pero I'm sure pagka-release ng episode na to, lahat ng makikinig alam na nila.
Alam na, oo. The cat's out of the bag. Ano kaya yung title nito?
Ah. Pero yung online dating, going back to online dating, actually never ko siyang nasubukan eh.
Oh.
Kumbaga, I know parang ang layo na naman sa image ko, pero
Yeah.
ano kasi more offline kasi ako eh, when it comes to pursuing women, when it comes to dating, more offline ako, more baga hands-on, hindi in a creepy way pero
Yeah.
yun yung term na gagamit ko mo. And nung nauso kasi ang online dating,
Yeah.
ano na I was already in a long-term relationship na nung time na lumabas yung mga Tinder na yan,
Mm.
yung mga grinder na yan or whatever. And so I never really had the chance to explore online dating.
Mm.
Sure, kumbaga nung parang early college, late high school, meron ng mga social media, yung MySpace, yung Friendster, yung early stages ng Facebook. Sure, kumbaga parang nagchat-chat din ako dyan with my crushes. Pero
Mm.
kumbaga when I make them know regarding my intentions that I want
Yeah.
to date them,
Mm.
offline ko ginagawa, hindi through online, hindi through text. Kasi hindi ko alam, parang personal preference, parang hindi ko kaya yung what do you call this? Parang anticipation na kunyari nag-text ako na, uy,
Mm.
pwede ba akong maging boyfriend mo?
Yeah.
Tapos parang maghihintay ka for the reply, 'di ba? Parang ano it's so nerve-wracking to wait for that reply.
Yeah.
And so kaya mas naging preference ko yung offline dating talaga. Pero siguro if maging single ako in the future, I'm not saying na gusto ko, pero kumbaga hindi pa naman tapos ang lahat eh. So
Yeah.
baka malay natin maging single ako in the future. Baka siguro i-try natin yan. I'm not opposed to online dating or anything. Pero yun nga, more offline talaga ako.
Yeah. And it's a challenge. I mean, I agree with you with the offline approach because there are certain things that you want to say and contextually minsan I don't know if you agree with me, but the way I see the online offline transition is like it's very weird. Like, there are certain things that you want to say and you type it in context, but the person who's reading it, let's say I have let's say I'll be clear, I want to intentionally date this girl, so I send a text, I
Yeah.
like you, can we go out? you know the um I don't know what the word is exactly. I think the flavor of the text is not
Yeah.
the intention of it. I don't know if you got what I'm saying though. It's
Yeah,
like,
I totally get you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Kasi
it's,
may mga ganyan talaga na
yeah,
parang na you say one thing and then the person perceives it as another. Kumbaga
yeah,
parang ang hirap mag-convey ng I don't know, parang feelings ba? Or
yeah.
yun ang hirap i-convey ng feelings through online, through text, through chat. Parang nalulose talaga yung yung words na ginagamit mo, parang it gets lost in translation, kumbaga.
But yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, contextually, you have no idea how many times I feel like I want to punch the screen, my phone, especially when it comes to texting. Yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, I like you, but then the word, you cannot bolden it, you cannot put the flavor into, you can't put the twist. It's kind of weird. And then the person, this is the killer. I'm sure you agree with this. This is when someone responds, the word that would kill the vibe is that K. When they say K, is like, oh, this is, if this was a game,
Parang
parang,
conversation ender na yun
yeah,
eh.
oh, it's like, in the way,
Yeah.
what is the thing? What's the word for it? Parang game over. Like when you're
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, yung parang alam mo yung ending na finish him, bang, and then you box the head and the spine out of your body. Yung parang ganun. So yeah. Uh, that's that's the thing. Yeah, it's funny. That's a funny experience I really hated the most, which is thing. And as much as possible, I like to have video calls is the only thing. I mean, now, prior to this recording, we are in the pandemic, so dating is kind of the killer. Getting out there with the face mask, judging people by
Mm.
face mask is now the new thing.
Yeah.
I like you unless your mask is on, yung parang ganun. Yung PP shield,
Yeah.
I like
Ang
you on the thing, 5 feet na lang muna. So
ang
yeah.
ang wrong timing nga nung kasi kung na-notice mo back when we had the PPD interview,
Yeah.
parang wala akong facial hair eh. And
Yeah.
ngayon, I'm starting to grow out my beard kasi gusto ko
Yeah.
magkaroon ng beard. Kaya lang, hindi naman siya nakikita kasi lagi ako naka-face mask. So parang
Oo
wrong
nga eh.
timing nung...
Oo nga eh. Hi, I like you. Tapos nakaganon. Parang, alam mo yung Bane na mask? Her, I like you. Parang ganon. Yung Batman Dark Knight Rises. Parang ganon. Ang weird.
uh,
Tapos,
actually, maganda yung movie niya na.
I love the movie. Parang ang weird. Ano
Yeah.
ba yung follow-up nun? Do you want to control Gotham? Di mo ganon. So yeah. But yeah, that's the dating world from my perspective as an Indian coming back to the Philippines. Yeah, I've always wanted to share that. I didn't expect that lalabas thing. So yeah.
Actually nga, interested ako malaman yung dating life mo eh.
ngayon na na-expose na ako.
Oo, na-expose ka na.
Yeah. That's, welcome to my life. Pero yeah,
That's
that was
the story of Rajiv.
Yeah, that's the story for those chicks who probably, if I'm dating someone at this point of the release of the thing, don't get me wrong. We are all humans. We have to, we have to do our thing in order to survive. We gotta learn how to communicate. We gotta learn how to handle rejection and all that stuff. So please don't get me wrong. Wow, a nice opening. I want to talk about philosophy. I mean, you opened in philosophy, and I want to talk about that. But before we open that box, we're gonna take a short break, folks, and we'll be right back after these few short messages. So yeah.
Your Unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast every week is now Pipe Network. Catch the MTG Show podcast every Friday on your favorite podcast platforms. And remember, stay safe and stay wrestle.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv Show. Nagigigil na tuloy ako. Yeah, the first half of our conversation, I'm speaking with my guest, the host of Jappy Hour, Joshua Von Drake, and I basically exposed myself, my dating life, and how I date. It's kind of funny. And now we're gonna talk about some serious stuff. So we're gonna open up our serious face and everything. And we're gonna tackle philosophy. I mean, I've always wanted to tackle philosophy with Jappy because in his podcast, biglang na-plug, no? In his podcast, he talks about self-confidence and self-imagery. And I think the episode that I love the most is the one about being assertive, being a dominant alpha male. Yeah, alpha male.
Yeah, alpha male.
Yeah, that I remember. I don't know when that was released. I think it was released 5 months ago, and I saw that, and yeah, he kind of has some few points there, and yeah, I said I gotta have this guy on my show. So let's get into the philosophy thing. I gotta ask, now that you've gone through the image change, is there a Joshua Von Drake quotation philosophy that you live by every day, every time you wake up, and every day when you do something, you know?
Parang Nike slogan eh. Just do it.
Yeah.
Kasi yan yung I think ma-discuss ko to dito sa mga very recent na episodes ko eh, na when it comes to doing an image change or gusto mo mag-pursue ng something na kumbaga you're not that great in pero you're interested in, kumbaga parang gets mo, parang you're not good at something pero you're still interested in doing that thing,
like your heart is in it,
anything. Kumbaga parang if you want to do something, I think you just have to do it. Kasi yun yung hardest step eh. Taking that first step, yun yung parang struggle ng karamihan. Like, let's say, let's take podcasting for example. I'm sure madaming mga nakikinig sa mga podcasts and then parang sasabihin nila sa sarili nila, oh, I have something to say as well. Siguro I should start a podcast too. Pero they would go through this phase na parang magre-research sila paano gumawa ng podcast, mangingi sila ng tips kung paano maging effective podcaster, how to get good audio and whatnot. And then bibili na sila ng mga equipment. Pero dahil sa pag-prepare nila, yung too much preparing, and then sa sobrang pagsa-second guess nila, they're trying to make everything perfect. They forget to actually start. Kaya madaming taong nagtatanong lang paano ganito. Pero you never see them actually doing it. Kasi yun yung tingin ko, napapansin ko parang the hardest thing to do in life, to take that first step. And
I agree.
Yun nga, no, dapat talaga, if you want to do something, if you want to be something, if you want to achieve something, you have to take that first step. No matter how scary it is, no matter how difficult it is. Kasi mas importante sa akin yung nagsa-start ka na and then you're learning from the mistakes along the way rather than trying to prepare everything from the get-go pero you never get to take that first step. Yun lang. Yun yung parang philosophy that I follow in life, na you just have to do it. Yun.
That's interesting. I love it. I mean, I want to tackle image change. I'm sure this is a topic that's never been discussed, and has to be. It actually has to have its own advocacy. I've noticed that a lot of people, they want to impress and all that stuff, and I've always wanted to have this conversation about image. What is the definition, the prime definition, in order to achieve such thought? I mean, I'm sure the one thing that you would agree with me is the fact that taking that step is the hardest. You mentioned taking that step is the hardest portion, and maintaining that that momentum. That momentum is the toughest part of the whole thing, the whole gig. And I gotta ask, how does one accept the fact that they need to, okay, this is my time, I gotta do this, I have to do this. It's not I gotta do this, I have to do this. When is the best time, for such ideas or for such thoughts?
Actually, mahirap yung question yan kasi we're all different. Kumbaga, even though tayong dalawa, we agree on certain points, pero to our course, parang we're different people altogether. And so, kung napaka parang what do you call this? Napaka egotistic kong tao, if I were to say na dapat ganito, you should do this para mag-start ka. Pero yung personal experience ko kasi, the moment when you have to take that first step is kapag na-realize mong you want to do something. Hindi mo kailangan maging have hindi mo kailangan maging need kahit nga want, tingin ko kahit nasa want stage ka pa lang, dapat you're already striving to reach that goal. You're trying to achieve that, kumbaga, that want. Kasi pag hinintay mo pa yung, kumbaga, parang yung need or yung have, parang madami ka ng opportunities na nasayang Yun yung yun yung, that's from my perspective Kasi if I were to put this into perspective, lagyan natin ng example. Let's say gusto mo maging artista. Let's say lang gusto mo maging artista. And then nasa point ka pa lang ng want. And then sabi mo parang nagre-research ka, paano ba ako magsa-start maging artista, ano mga agencies yung kailangan kong puntahan. Pero during that time, ang dami mo nang na-miss na opportunities Instead na nag-second guess ka sa sarili mo, dapat nag-apply ka na lang agad Kasi what if dumating yung point na kailangan mo na maging artista. Let's say, umabot ka sa point ng financial distress.
Yeah.
or financial difficulties, and then yung parang pagiging movie star mo is yun yung magiging saving grace mo financially.
Yeah.
Kaya lang, you've already wasted a lot of opportunities eh. So,
Ah.
may possibility na yung nung time na need mo na where you have to do it, wala na yung mga opportunities mo. So, there's a possibility na hindi mo ma-meet yung dream na yun even though you need to, even though you have to. Kaya yung advice ko lang is as soon as you think of it, kunyari gusto mo mag-start ng business, and then just do it. But worry about the details later. I know parang napaka-reckless nung mga parang point of view ko, pero yun yung nakikita kong ano eh. Yung from my perspective yun yung kasi based on my experiences, madami din kasi yung opportunities na nasayang kasi kumbaga parang I've waited too long eh. Masyado kong sinecond guess yung sarili ko to the point na hindi ko na nagawa. Puro want. Pero I never take that first step. So pag dumating yung mga opportunities, I mean yung points na I need to or I have to, wala na yung opportunities eh.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Taking that leap. I do agree. I mean, in life, actually, that's a general kind of consensus. Because it's not just in dating or podcasting or acting. It's kind of It, from a standpoint, my thing kasi, I want to share this. I think I've shared this also in a previous conversation that my discipline, not the reason why I'm sharing this is because my perspective. I actually wanted to hear your side of it, and I do agree. In my perspective, earlier on when I did I'll use the context of my podcast because of course that's the only thing that I could relate to that has the similarities. When when I started my podcast, there was so many doubts, there's so many fears. Actually, I got into podcasting because when Gary Vaynerchuk did an advertisement for Anchor, I said, "Hey, let me get into this. This looks cool." I got into it. I did my first podcast, I think 2018, and with that, I did the first podcast. Bit nervous. I didn't know the reception, and then I think after the pandemic, I think I saw the numbers. It went up. People were listening, but I was not I was not consistent. That was the problem. I didn't really continue. The first episode that I released, I didn't have a plan, and then of course when the pandemic happened, I started tuning in. I mean, at first I got back into the thing, and I found out that Anchor was bought by Spotify. So most of the Spotify stuff is there. So I said, okay, this is cool. And yeah, that's what happened. And what happened next was it was fun. I mean, the journey. There were so many things that I really messed up, but I think I took the same pattern as you meant. You gotta start something, and then if it's messy, don't think about the messy pattern. Just figure out how you can figure out so that you can share that information. Because when I did the podcasting, there's so many things that happened. First of all, I was messing up my social media. I was getting too confused. I had an identity crisis. Alam mo yung identity crisis pero social media lang yun. parang parang maliit na bagay tapos social media. Parang ganun. I had an identity crisis with my Instagram because I had post from my blog, I had from my podcast. Kaya I kind of in between. I was like where can I post my own stuff? Like I went out to dinner and stuff. I want to post a pizza. Saan ko lalagay? Ganun yung feeling. Kaya I decided later on that the Rajiv Show creates its own Facebook page, Instagram, and I'll manage. And then Rajiv Doreswamy has his own share na lang from the Rajiv. So I kind of fixed it as I was going along, but it was a messy journey. The podcast, the blog also was another thing. But yeah, and but I do agree that you got to start somewhere and then figure it out, and that's one thing. getting started is the toughest. I do agree with you. I gotta ask though, the working out, because I'm a skinny guy. I'm sure you've seen some of my photos. I'm a skinny guy, and I did couple of workouts here and there. I was not consistent though because of the lack of motivation. I should actually take your word for it. I should work out for the chicks. Perhaps, who knows? Who knows? By the time I get this thing, but yeah, working out. When did that start, and who got you into it? I'm sure it never fell into your lap. Oh, I want to work out all of a sudden. When did that happen?
Maganda yung sinabi mo na it did not fall onto my lap. And yun yung parang gusto kong message na before I talk about working out, yun yung message na gusto kong dapat ma-absorb ng karamihan ng tao. Like, even though some people have it together, like even though some people do it like perfectly, yung mga gusto mo sa buhay, kahit yung podcasting for example, I'm sure yung taong yun worked his ass off to get to where he is. Kumbaga ang hirap i-judge nung tao na sabihin natin, oh, he's just naturally gifted, or may pera lang siya kaya afford niya yung mga ganito, blah 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 blah. You also have to factor in na yung mga portions na hindi mo nakita. Kasi malay mo, for example, yung podcasting, let's say a guy has a very successful podcast pero hindi mo alam in the background before he reached kumbaga the maganda status, madami na siyang ibang mga failed na podcasts eh. And so yun din yung parang sa in life, you have to work for the things you want. It's not naturally going to fall into your lap. Of course, may mga taong swerte talaga, yung mga parang na-bless with good genes, may rich parents, or may prince from Abu Dhabi or something. Pero hindi lahat ng tao ganun eh. Most people work their asses off to reach the point where they are at now. And yun lang yung masasabi ko. Pero going back to working out, same story. It's about a girl eh. I had this girlfriend back when I was in college, first year college, when I was a freshman in college. And ano siya, maganda siya. And madami nagkakagusto sa kanya. And so I felt insecure. Kasi that was kumbaga parang mga one of the first relationships I had eh. Kumbaga she's not technically my first girlfriend pero one of the first. Kumbaga nasa early stages pa lang ng dating ko nung time na yun eh, when I was in freshman college. And insecure ako kasi ang dami nagkakagusto sa kanya and madami mga varsity players na nagkakagusto sa kanya. And so dahil nga parang sabi ko, I don't want to feel insecure anymore. Parang ganun. Sabi ko, I need to be the guy that other guys hated. Kasi galit ako dun sa mga varsity players eh. It's not that they do anything wrong. Pero dahil dun sa image nila na they get the best girls, they get the most beautiful girls. Parang sabi ko, baka kailangan ko maging, baga, not exactly a varsity player, pero yung image na pinoproject nila, siguro kailangan kong ma-reach yun para maramdaman ko naman yung kung ano yung nararamdaman nila. Malay mo, it's not so great. You're hating this guy, pero being a varsity player might turn out to be not the best thing. Parang ganon eh. So, I wanted to be in their shoes. Kasi sabi ko, ano ba yung pwedeng maging common ground namin? And that was working out. Kasi lalo na yung college varsity players, they're subjected to intense training eh. And they have to work out. Kaya magaganda yung mga katawan ng mga varsity players eh, di ba? Especially yung mga basketball players. And so, yun yung common ground na hinanap ko, that was realistically achievable for me. And so, yun, nag-start akong mag-workout. Pero yung minention mo kasi na parang inconsistent ka, That's why you were skinny.
Yeah.
That's actually true eh. Kasi I think yung madaming tao na gusto mag-workout na para gumanda yung katawan nila and then inconsistent sila, then nadi-disappoint sila kasi wala sila nakikitang progress kahit let's say ilang months na sila nag-gym. I think that stems from a lack of a goal. Kasi that's what I found out eh. Kasi believe it or not, matagal din before kumbaga parang nag-change yung body ko eh. Siguro mga 3 months na ako when I started working out, nag-gym ako for 3 months straight and then wala akong nakitang progress. And then kasi wala talaga akong goal during that time. I didn't have a goal. Ang sabi ko lang, I wanted to work out. Yun lang yung sabi ko, I wanted to work out. And so kasi kumbaga parang may mental factor din kasi yung working out. Ito based on kumbaga parang bro science, pero this is based on my experience kasi. Pag wala kang specific na goal, let's say gusto ko maging kamukha si Chris Hemsworth, you have to have that specific goal eh. Pero if you were to say I want to work out, napaka-vague nung idea. Kasi
makes sense.
Kasi let's say yung definition mo ng workout is mag-treadmill ka for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Kumbaga parang that's already working out eh. Pero does that actually kumbaga make your body look better? Kumbaga 10 minutes na
or does it
treadmill?
achieve
So,
something? Something like that. Does it achieve a goal that is specific? You know, kind of makes sense. Yeah, I kind of make sense. I kind of get it.
So dapat when you work out, you have to have a specific goal. Kahit let's say you want to gain 10 pounds in 3 weeks. But that's specific eh. You're aiming for that. So papasok na dyan yung what can I do to reach that goal. Pero kung vague lang yung goal mo na if I want to work out, parang ano ba yung pwede kong gawin? Kumbaga it's wide open eh kasi nga napaka-vague nung idea mo eh. You have no specific direction eh. So yun yung technique when you work out. It's a goal. And of course, consistency. I know lalo na sa parang sa panahon ngayon, parang napaka-fast-paced ng buhay na you're always going to work, going home.
Yeah.
Then you have to do chores or whatnot. Kumbaga parang walang time eh. Yun yung problema nung karamihan eh. Walang time. Pero as I've said, kapag may goal ka, pag may definitive na goal ka, pag may specific na goal ka, it's not about not having time. It's about how do I make time. Diba?
Interesting.
Interesting. Kasi let's say for example, you work an 8-hour shift and then you take an hour to commute to and fro your office. So 9 hours a day na kumbaga fixed na. Pero you still have like what do you call this? Shit, I suck at math. You still have 15 hours. You still have 15 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Assuming na ma-minusan mo yung sleep mo dun, you still have like what did I say? 15? Well, you still have 8 hours left or something. 7 hours. So sa 7 hours na yun natitira sa day in your life, 'di ba? Hahanapan mo ng oras eh if you want to achieve something. Kumbaga parang podcasting eh. May goal ka, I have to make an episode this week.
Yeah.
So hahanapan mo ng way. How do you make time to make that episode? Kaya the goal is very important when working out. You have to have a goal. Yun lang yung sa akin. Hindi, kumbaga, I'm not a fitness coach or anything. I'm not a kumbaga bodybuilding champion. Kumbaga, I work out just to look good. Pero yun yung that thing, having that goal, that's what works for me. Yun lang yung masasabi ko.
Wow, more power. I mean, wow. I agree. I love it and I agree. I love the philosophy. By the way, I wanted to take this. I wrote this down. I love love how powerful your voice is and how it kind of resonates. I want to quote you on this because what I've learned, what I jotted down what I've learned is that know what you want and do it. I want to quote you on that because it kind of that's if you put that in a sentence, that's what you meant. I'm sure you agree with me.
Yeah,
Is that you gotta
yeah,
know
I
what you
agree.
want. You want that girl, go for it and yeah,
Do it.
and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, this is the first time I've ever encountered having a conversation with someone talking about image change because that's a thing, and working out also is a part of that whole stuff. Let's talk about the artistry of podcasting. How's the experience? I mean, I gotta ask. I know this feels like a continuation of the PPD show. Yeah. But let's just have a short conversation about podcasting
Yeah.
and connect that to the art side of it. Because I'm sure you learned a thing or two that I don't know, and probably that will surprise me. So let's see, surprise me, pal. No pressure, but surprise
Ay,
me.
mahirap yan ah. Hindi ko tingin ko hindi kita masa-surprise. Pero when it comes to podcasting, ganyan din eh.
Yeah.
Well, you need to have a goal, and yeah, and I think hindi lang with podcasting and working out. I think that applies to life in general eh. Kailangan you have to have a goal.
Yeah.
Pero if you don't, kumbaga, huwag kayong ma-disappoint kapag wala kayong goal, or let's say yung podcast nyo walang specific na niche.
Yeah.
Kasi madaming taong walang goal eh. And that's not a problem. Magiging problem lang siya if you stop looking for a goal. So, kunyari, if you're starting a podcast tapos parang wala kang specific niche, which is yun yung problema nung the Jappy Hour podcast ko eh.
Same
Kumbaga,
here.
even though
The Rajiv show.
even though I tackle even though I tackle para mga philosophy, dating and whatnot, kumbaga parang nagiging mishmash na siya ng different genres eh, different niches eh. Pero
Yeah.
I think if you're actively looking for the goal, if you're actively looking for your niche, I think that's still an admirable trait eh. May mga taong makakagets nan eh. Kasi and yun din yung message na sinabi ko in one of my episodes when I was talking about how to be more of an alpha male. Kasi may mga taong yung no. May yung mga females kasi, mga girls in general
Yeah.
no, not in general. Most
Yeah.
at least from what I've encountered. Attracted sila sa taong parang may conviction in life. Yung
Yeah.
alam nila yung what they want. Yun yung mga attractive na guys para sa ibang mga babae. And kahit wala ka pang goal or dream para sa future mo, at least try to actively look for it. Kasi yung mga babae, makikita nila na you're making an effort to find that dream.
Yeah.
You're making an effort to find a goal in life. And ganun din sa podcasting. So, yun yung status nung The Jappy Hour podcast ko ngayon. So, I'm still trying to find that specific niche. Pero may ideas na ako eh. Kumbaga, parang sometime in the near future, baka mag-revamp ako nung The Jappy Hour podcast. Kasi kumbaga gut feeling eh. I think I found the perfect niche for The Jappy Hour podcast. Pero yun nga, wala akong specific niche pa ngayon. Pero it's interesting actually. I have a second podcast. Hindi ko lang alam kung napakinggan mo na, which is yung The Normy and the Nerd. The one that I share with my girlfriend.
Akala ko Jappy Hour yun. I've seen it. I've seen it posted.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I'm actually managing two podcasts right now, which is yung The Jappy Hour podcast and The Normy and the Nerd. Yung The Normy and the Nerd, meron siyang specific niche, which is yung TV, movie shows, games. Well, basically nerd culture. And dun ko nagamit yung pagiging nerd ko back in high school. And so dito ko nilalabas para kumbaga alam mo yun, parang unexpected. A guy that looks like this is talking about movies in depth na parang sobrang nerdy down to the camera angle, bakit may meaning to.
Parang yung image doon, paano kaya uupo si Shaquille O'Neal kung may Lamborghini kasi kasing baba nung kotse na yun. Hindi niya kaya.
Yeah. So, I'm actually enjoying podcasting right now, and of course, I'm struggling to stay consistent. Yes, I'm actively looking for a goal, pero baka kasama yan sa journey. Hindi naman perfect always yung journey. You're going to have you're going to experience speed bumps along the way, and I think that I'm experiencing speed bumps. Pero that's more of a parang personal personal thing eh. So I'm trying to get over those humps, and I'm looking to build momentum and hopefully get some traction, get an audience and ganon whatnot. Pero yung struggle ko right now with podcasting is trying to find the balance between, will I do an audio only podcast or do I have to interview? Kasi I'm sure you've noticed na yung lahat ng podcast episodes ko may video eh.
Vidcast mostly.
Yeah, may vidcast, yeah. So I'm kasi parang napapansin ko na may mga purist na mga podcast listeners na they prefer
audio
only, and may mga tao naman na prefer video podcasts. And so parang nade-divide yung audience ko kasi if you, kahit hindi pa kalaki yung audience ko, pag check out ko yung metrics ko, parang divided talaga eh.
Yun ang paboritong best friend ng mga podcaster. Anong nangyari sa metrics ko ngayon? Tapos nabugbog pala dun sa YouTube. Ay,
puro nasa YouTube. Minsan may episodes ako na puro audio only. Like, hindi ko ma-gets minsan eh. Pero
but at least,
ngayon kasi parang
you're
parang
picking.
hindi ko na pinapansin minsan yung hindi ko na pinapansin yung metrics ko, and I'm just trying to
figure out you.
Do what
do you.
Yeah.
Kind of
thing. Just do me. And so, yun lang. Yun yung struggle ko. Talagang nadi-divide yung audience eh. Pero, mas feel ko talaga tong video podcast eh. Kasi, I think mas nako-convey ko yung message ko kasi mahilig ako sa mga hand gestures, tsaka may mga tao nakaka-gets ng facial expression ko eh. So,
it goes back to the idea of texting that I remember mentioned, is that you say, hey, I want to take you out, can we go out, and I like you, parang yung ganun. Tapos yung na-send mo na, tapos na-receive na, okay, patay. It kind of goes that way. But yeah, that word K is like a killer. It's like parang scissors. Tignan mo din yung sa word, parang it's like a scissor because it has the same, if you tilt the K upside down, But yeah, before we end this conversation, of course, a lot of our listeners would love to connect with you on social media. How do they find you on social media, pal?
So as I've mentioned earlier, as Rajiv mentioned earlier, I go by Joshua Von Drake. Yun yung lahat ng mga social media tags ko is under Joshua Von Drake. My Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my YouTube. Yung Twitter ko medyo inactive. Yung Instagram ko medyo nagiging active na ulit. I've started posting pictures again. Mga workout videos and something like that. So, kung gusto nyo makita yung personal life ko on Instagram, kung gusto nyo makita ng mga memes, I'm on Facebook. And kung gusto nyo makita yung podcast ko, I'm on YouTube as well as on Spotify and all the other major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, and of course Anchor especially. So yun, I'm under Joshua Von Drake.
Podcast is Jappy Hour, and ano pa yung isa?
The Normy and the Nerd. Yun nga, my podcast parang similar to Rajiv, we're still trying to find our niche. Ano kami, my podcast is the Jappy Hour podcast, yun yung personal podcast ko. And then the one that I share with my girlfriend is called The Normy and the Nerd. Yun naman, it's all about TV shows, movies, cinema, games, manga, anime, all the nerd stuff. So kung medyo nerdy kayo or interested kayo in listening to nerd culture, check that out. Pero kung interested kayo in listening to relationships, self-improvement, how to be an alpha, how to be a guy that women kumbaga parang chase after, you go listen to the JPR podcast.
Awesome. Uh, I want to say thank you to my guest, Joshua. Why did I go with John? Joshua Von Drake. I want to thank you. This has been a 5-month wait, and I know I want to thank you so much for having this opportunity to have a conversation with me. Hopefully, in the upcoming season, if I open up another upcoming season, let's have a roundtable podcast. Let's get everybody in the Rajiv show, and I hope I get to book you till then. But yeah, yeah,
No,
I wanna yeah.
invite mo lang ako and I'll be there. No problem, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joshua. And thank you again. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, idol, respect. I respect you. You are, I think I've said this also in the in PPD show. You are a legend because I really love the how you present yourself. And hopefully, if I get back the ability to work out, hopefully, let's see. We get there when we get there.
No, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. I had fun, and of course, I've listened to your shows as well. In actually, I was kumbaga parang I was hooked on when you were talking about your personal life when you were in India and how like music changed you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, kumbaga parang that was so interesting. Baka siguro maging storytelling podcast ka, maganda yan. Pero of course, yung mga interview din na ganito, of course, this is always good. Maganda yan, parang Joe Rogan, and actually gusto ko nga din yung style ni Joe Rogan eh. Pero yeah, thank you for inviting me on your show, man. I'm a huge fan. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And for those who are listening, I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you guys are not gonna scandalize me in this in this episode. Because I've left the bare bones and the skeletons out of the closet now, and you guys know a little bit more about me, a little bit personal, but we're sharing our stories, and that's how we want to change the world. So for those who are listening, I hope you learned a thing or two again, and I will see you folks in the next episode. Cheers, folks.